Okay, move number 6, he calls circular extension and contraction, and I'll bet you there's a much more romantic Chinese name, but circulating. So one of the things that I should have said before, because it applies to every move, is and it's really something you want to pay attention to in this one. I started talking about it yesterday and then got distracted. Um, the space we're in is not empty. It's not a vacuum. It's a medium, just like water. It's not as thick, but it's relatively thick. It's thick enough that at sea level there's 14 pounds of pressure on every inch of your skin. We don't pay any attention to that, but it's there. So one of the things that you want to do when you do Qigong, and you want this to carry over into Tai Chi, so this is a perfect example of why Qigong is the foundation of Tai Chi. When you move, you're not moving in a vacuum. I'm sure you've all been in a lake or a pool of water, and it's over your head, so you tread water, right? You tread water, you turn your palms, you turn your palms back, and there's something there. You feel it, obviously, right? You want that same feeling when you do Qigong. So because we're so used to living in this particular dimension, we just ignore it and we just move as if there's nothing there. But if you pay attention to your hands. Do you not feel a breeze when you move your hands? You are moving something, just like when you're in a lake and you're treading water, you're moving the water. You're interacting with the water. It's not a nothing, it's a thing. And it's the same with the atmosphere. It's a thing. And if you start noticing that and paying attention to it, you can incorporate that feeling in your Qigong. So that's kind of level 1. Level 1 leads to level 2. Level 2 is when you are moving, you should feel a slight resistance to every move you do. So if I open my hands like this, I should feel a little resistance to opening, as if I was opening in water. There would be a very slight resistance. If I'm closing, now the resistance moves to the inside of the arms, and now the outside of the arms, and now the inside of the arms, right? If I'm moving my body, there's a slight resistance to that. Right? When you cultivate and keep that mindset, it changes your relationship with the world. You're not a an independent creature bobbing around in a vacuum. Oh, suddenly you are integrated with everything, right? And this transfers into Tai Chi because Tai Chi it is a boxing art, but it's also a wrestling art. And wrestling is you most of the time when you're wrestling, you cannot see what's going on, right? That's why they use the metaphor of listening, of hearing. And what they mean is every pore in your body is an ear. You're listening, right? With your eyes closed, you're listening to these currents. When you're moving, you're creating currents in the air. I mean, literally. But you can also, if you pay a little attention, you can also feel that. Now, it feels good, and where it leads you is is toward really the highest level of Tai Chi and Qigong, which is flow. Now, flow is more than that, but it also it has that feeling, just flowing. Um, have you guys ever gone whitewater rafting? No? Okay, so this summer your job is to go whitewater rafting and go on a river
What
that's about,
level?
well, I would say maybe about a level three to start, maybe. Don't go on a five. Uh, yeah, don't go on a five. Don't even go on a four. Go on a three. And usually on the milder rivers, at some point they're going to let you get out of the raft or the canoe and just float on your own. And so you go feet first down the river, right? Floating as you're wearing a life jacket, etc. So you float, you go feet first, and you're in the currents. It's really quite an amazing experience. Right? Now, you don't want to do that in rough water. Please don't do that in rough water. But
Actually,
in a
I have
mild river, what's
I
that?
have a suggestion is you go to
Yes,
Minnesota. This is a total Minnesota thing, is inner tubing on a river
yes.
is quite popular. So yeah.
Tubing tubing is good, but just floating on your back is even better.
Yeah, you
Because
can go without your tube. You
yeah,
can leave your tube.
okay. So anyway, get yourself in a river and float down the river and just feel what it's like. That same feeling should develop within your Qigong and within your Tai Chi, which is what Tai Chi and Qigong, Tai Chi is a complex form of Qigong, should be intensely pleasurable. I think I've told you guys this story, but I'm going to tell it again. I was at a Chinese banquet once. I think Master Feng was there and Master Zhang and a lot of masters from San Francisco who came to celebrate Feng being there. So it was a banquet for Feng. And Chinese banquets at a Chinese restaurant are held in these big round tables where like 12 people sit. So it was very family oriented. And after the banquet was, the banquets are long and complex, and there's people get up and do forms, and people sing, and all kinds of stuff happens.
And you eat too much.
And you eat way too much food. So the banquet's over. Most of the folks have left, but there are groups of people still sitting around talking, and I was sitting with some of my fellow students from Master Shang's class, and Chen Shang, who is a disciple of Master Feng's, and a couple of other guys, and we're talking about. The question came up: why do we do so much qigong? Because Feng said 70% of your practice should be qigong. So this person was asking why so much qigong? And I don't remember the exact sequence of questions, but maybe Chen Shang asked him, well, do you not like qigong? And the guy probably said something like, well, it's okay, but it's kind of boring. It's not that great. You just do the same little routines over and over and over. And Chen Shang said, um, he said in Chinese, then you don't get it. You don't understand Qigong. Qigong is better than sex. And of course, it's all guys there, so we all ha ha ha, we all laugh, right? And Chen Shang laughed too. And he said, but guys, I'm serious. Sex is a form of Qigong. Qigong is the bigger art. Qigong is the energy art, the energy of your life. One form of that is having sex, right? Another form is doing the Qigong routines. But Qigong is not the routines. The routines are just something to cultivate Qigong, right? So what he emphasized was, what he said was, if you don't understand that Qigong is intensely pleasurable, you're missing the boat. That's why we do it, right? Is to feel your energy opening and closing, to feel that little resistance opening and closing, is like it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. It's very sensual. It's very, very sensual. If you're not feeling that sensuality of this, you're missing it. So slow down and enjoy this, because this is an art of enjoying and cultivating yourself, your own energy body. Okay, so all which was a long preamble to doing this move, which is we actually do a version of this move on Sunday morning. On Sunday morning, we do a move like this. Etc. Uh, this is a very close cousin to that move, but it is slightly different. That move is actually out of a routine called Big Strength Qigong, is a direct translation. And it's a series of very rigorous Qigong exercises that was done in the winter. So when you go out, and Beijing is on the North China Plain, and it is freezing in the winter there. It's like Montana or Dakotas or something, right? So the big strength Qigong looked like this. Here's another exercise. Well, it's really intense. It's meant to work up some body heat, right? But this is a cousin of that move that we do on Sunday mornings, but it's much more snake-like, right? So you can stick the left foot forward. And remember, when you move forward, a little resistance. When you move back, a little, you just feel a little resistance to your movement. And right foot forward. Right? Imagine you're gathering a big armload of chi and pulling it into the danshan, breathing it in. And reverse, same thing. Gather chi. No, I should have been wearing one of my danshans here.
Malcolm, were you changing position just to show us, or was that?
Yes,
Okay.
I was just changing positions to show. So you just take two positions, not shift around. All right? But just remember this. All right? Or the other way. Now, even when he was older, Master Feng really stepped out on this exercise more than I just did. You know, even when he was older than me, so he would really step out and really stretch. Reverse. When you step out, make sure that you're opening your toes. Right? Open your knees and open your pelvis. So this is open here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the 6 moves that we know, and we'll do each of them 9 times. If there's a left and right version, we'll do each 9 times. Right? According to Master Feng's order here. Do you feel a little resistance? A little resistance when you raise your arms. A little resistance when you close your hands. A little resistance when you lower the chi. Very slight. So when Chen Shang does this move or similar moves, he will do this. all the way to the ground. Master Feng did not do that. He would do this. Down to the knees. So why the difference? Chen Shang was encouraged by going all the way to the ground. It encourages people to complete the movement. That is, your mind goes all the way to the ground, your chi goes all the way to the ground, etc., etc. That's a good thing. That's the pro. The con is it puts a little strain on your knees. When you bend your knees forward, particularly over your toes, you're going to put a little strain on there. And for some folks, that's not a good thing to do. So Feng, being very health oriented, health minded, and he used to teach this in some of the hospitals in Beijing. And the last I heard, they still do these routines in those hospitals. So he was wanting that people not strain themselves. So he's just gently going down to the knees and then taking plenty of time to go down to the ground and then coming up and starting again. That helps to protect the knees, but it also keeps your mind on the exercise rather than on the pain in your knees. So it's to keep you from being distracted. So physically, if you follow Master Feng's pattern, physically you're not going all the way down to your ankles or the ground, but mentally you do. So where your mind goes, your chi will go. So if you just go down here and then sort of forget about it, it's not so good. If you go physically down to your knees, but mentally you continue all the way down to the ground, then your chi will go all the way down. And don't forget, this is a cleansing exercise. Pick up any tension, any discomfort, and wash it down the legs and out the bottom of the feet. charging the three dantians. Gather to the upper dantian, and then sink it down through the body to the middle dantian and let it cook there. Right? The chi goes in here and it cooks, right? Like you're boiling water in a tea kettle, right? And the steam goes out through the body. That's the chi. So what you're doing is gathering fresh chi. But you've already got chi in your body, ran chi. Um, Yuan Chi is your original chi, your original life chi. It actually comes from your parents, right? And you're gathering kind of fresh cosmic chi, Bunyan chi, and then sinking it down into the Dantian, and there it mixes with the chi that's already in your Dantian, right? It's like cooking spaghetti, right? You're mixing the pasta and the meatballs and the marinara sauce, everything's mixing, and then this steam comes up, and the steam comes up back to not the only place, but it comes up here. It actually goes out to every part of the body. And middle dantian. All right, when you gather, all right, come up into a little bit into your Tanzhong, and then relax back into the Mingmen. Tanzhong, Mingmen. Tanzhong, Mingmen. There are some. We'll watch them after we've learned all this. We'll watch them. There are some great videos of Master Feng doing this, even when he's older, even when he's in his late 70s and 80s. And when he does these exercises, his body swells up. It's kind of unbelievable. So when he's gathering, Tanzhong. Tanzhong. Mingmen. Tanzhong. Mingmen. And then the lower dantian, gather yin qi from earth, breathe it up into the perineum, and then up the tailbone to the Mingmen, and then roll it forward into the Danshan. Yin Shi, perineum, tailbone, Mingmen, right? Come up into the Tanzhuang, and now roll it forward. And again, when you do the upper one, you're gathering yang qi from heaven, from the cosmos. When you're doing the middle one, you're gathering qi from nature, right? So from plants and animals, everything that's alive, right? When you're doing the lower one, you're gathering yin qi from earth. Same thing in all cases. You gather into the danshan, let it cook. When you do the upper one, you let it cook, and some of the steam goes everywhere in the body to feed the body, but some of it goes back up, especially to the upper danshan where you originally gathered it, and that feeds the upper danshan. When you're doing the middle one, it's just very direct. It stays right there. It cooks, and again, it spreads out through the body to feed the body. And then when you're doing the lower one, up into the danshan, let it cook, and in this case, it's more like water. So it's going to naturally fall back down to the lower danshan and feed the lower danshan.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is yin energy cool?
Yes.
Okay. Because when I'm pulling it up, it's like kind of particularly I'm noticing in my back is I'm
Uh,
getting this cool sensation.
it's cool and moist, where yang energy is warm and dry. Yeah, yeah, so good.
Hmm.
Uh, that's a great example of paying attention and just noticing what happens. Because these insights, these ways of doing things are not religious dogma. They're just observations. So it's really kind of a science. They would do this and they would notice things like that, what Jill just said, and go, oh, okay, yeah, of course. Think about the original definition of yin and yang. Yang was the sunny side of a mountain, yin was the shady side of the mountain. So, in a sense, they're complete opposites of each other, but in another sense, they're the same thing. Because you can't get a shady side unless you have a sunny side. Right? And what is the shady side of the mountain? It's darker, it's cooler, it's moister. The sunny side is going to be warmer, right? Drier, etc. So oftentimes you'll read yin and yang are opposites. That's not really the right terminology. The right terminology is they are complementary opposites, meaning You can't have yang unless you've got yin, and you can't have yin unless you've got yang. They always come together. You can't have day without night, and you can't have night without day. It's just the way the world works, right? You can't have tall without short. You can't have short without tall. Imagine what the word short would mean if everybody was exactly the same height. It would have no meaning. It's only in relationship to something that you say something is short or sunny. So good catch, Jill. Okay, the third move, which is probably all we're going to have time for, two hands roll the ball. When you do the meditations in between, do them to the count of 9 breaths, all right? And just take your time. This whole routine is a perfect example of why you want to do this without talking, and you want to do it slowly. The idea that you feel a slight resistance, you have to slow down to feel that. Now, once you've cultivated that for a few years, yeah, then you can move more quickly and not lose the thread of this. But you start out, and even when you've done this 50 years, right, you do it slowly so that you are in touch with that, you know, feel feel the movement of the air. By going really slow like this, it's like you can feel every molecule that your hands are moving, right? And they're moving around your hand, compressing them, expand, right? So you're creating currents in the air. When you do Qigong, that's part of what you're feeling. That's part of why this is so sensual, right? When you bring that into your Tai Chi, then you're starting to really bind your Qigong and your Tai Chi together, right? Oh, now your Tai Chi truly becomes a form of Qigong. It's a particular form. But we've done so many routines now that I'm sure you've got an idea. Wow, there's a lot of different kinds of Qigong. They move, some of them move more quickly than others. Some of them are more about stretching the body. Others are much quieter than that. It's all good. It's all Qigong. It's a spectrum from most yin to most yang. When you do the Tai Chi Bong, right? Wow, that's pretty fierce. But if you've established a foundation or a base in the quieter, more yin versions of Qigong, you can then bring that into the more yang. Because don't forget, when you look at the Tai Chi symbol, right in the middle of the yin is a yang dot, and right in the middle of the yang is a yin dot. They're always uh, binding themselves together like this. So when I'm doing a fierce, right, inside it has to be yin still. Yeah, it's yang, but inside is yin. So one of the reasons that I have been hesitating to do, even though Jack's been asking for it, to do this series is it's so young. It's way out there on the yang, way out there on the yang side of things. But I think that it's really important to establish the yin foundation because the yin side is the foundation side. Um, move the yang side is movement. The yin side is stillness. All movement comes out of stillness. So, um, Master Feng, as you know, used to say, Huanyan Tai Chi, Huanyan Qigong have both movement and stillness, but we give precedence to stillness. So I thought, let's do the Huanyan Qigong, the Fang Zong Gong, Huanyan Qigong, the Jianzhuang meditation. Those are the most yin of the routines that we do. Let's get a foundation built on that, and then slowly work more and more yang up until we get to that really fierce joint locking Tai Chi Bang. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, because then we will understand that poem, stillness and stillness.
Stillness and stillness. It's not the real stillness. It's true. Okay, we're out of time, guys. So we'll just continue with this. I think for maybe the rest of the week, we should just practice. Well, of course, it's Thursday. Tomorrow, we should just practice this, and I'll try not to make quite so many comments because it's also important just to practice, just to be quiet and not be distracted by me talking or whatever. I know that's an important part of this, but also just to get a feeling for the actual uh, routine. Um, Starting in, I'll put it. I can't believe this term is almost over. We've only got 2 more weeks. Starting in next month, I wanted to we're gonna finish this routine up in these 2 weeks, so we'll have this, and then starting next month on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the foundation studies, I'm going to repeat all this for everybody, and I'm going to let everybody know if you want to know what this really is, you need to come to these classes, and then we'll practice them the next day on Sunday at 9 o'clock. Okay, guys, have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.